Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. What a day for the DC Extended Universe. Oh my God. The things that dropped today, I am shocked. I am actually quite, kind of happy in the same breath, and kind of like, whoa, out of left field type material here, okay? And man, things are flying in, dropping bombs, and I mean, I could go a lot of puns with it's soaring high, DC Extended Universe is flying high, it's all these bird references. Yes, there's been two movies that have been announced to be going to be in production, hopefully, or set to be in production. And one is Blackhawk, and the other is Birds of Prey, right? So we kind of heard about Birds of Prey. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But I wanted to get into the biggest thing, and that is Blackhawk. And you're like, Blackhawk what? Blackhawk Down? Blackhawk the Chopper? What are you talking about? What is Blackhawk? Well, it seems to be that Steven Spielberg is set to produce his first DC film, Blackhawk. You heard me right? Steven Spielberg! Steven Spielberg. Now, the funny thing is, David Film Junkie and I, we had a podcast, and one of the questions is that on Cosmic Book News, some guy had said there's a big rumor a big director is going to be set to direct the DC film, and we're like, and the list of names was included Steven Spielberg, but I don't know what Dave felt, but I kind of just narrowed it down to, out of all those names, I think Peter Jackson would. I don't, Steven Spielberg? Really? Nah, he doesn't do that kind of movies. But apparently we were wrong, and he is out to produce it, and with an eye to direct the movie as well. And you're like, what the heck is Blackhawk? Well, Blackhawk, and I'm going to read off an article because I myself have never seen or ever heard of this at all. I asked my friend, he's like, he kind of knew about it, but not really. So into the article we go. This is coming straight from Deadline, and by the way, Warner Brothers Pictures also put out an official notice about it. They actually put it on their website on DC Comics, and that for the first time have they ever done that. None of the other stuff, New Gods, none of those other movies, even Birds of Prey, are actually being official. But because it's Steven Spielberg, they're making a huge deal about it. Okay, and it appears that Steven Spielberg wanted to do this like forever, like from the 90s and the 80s. So this is Blackhawk. Blackhawk was first published by Quality Comics and later by DC, and was created by Chuck Kudera with input by Bob Powell and Will Eisner. In this series, the Blackhawks are a small team of World War II ace pilots who are led by an enigmatic leader, Blackhawk. In the comic book, they operate out of a hidden base known as Blackhawk Island and battle Axis forces, but also foes such as King Condor and Killer Shark and a line of femme fatales. During the height of the comic's popularity, it outsold every other comic book but Superman. So it was a big deal back then, and rightfully so. The screenplay for Blackhawk is being penned by David Koepp, who has collaborated with Spielberg as a screenwriter on his titles Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, War of the Worlds, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Spielberg will produce the film together with Christy McCusker under Amblin Entertainment, while Sue Crow will executive produce under her Kroll & Company Entertainment shingle. Spielberg exclaimed, "It was a wonderful working with a team at Warner Brothers to bring Ready Player One to the screen. They bring a blend of passion and professionalism to everything they do and have a tremendous history in this genre. I am excited to reunite with them on Blackhawk." Now, Toby Emmerich also stated, "We are so proud to be the studio behind Steven Spielberg's latest hit and are thrilled to be working with him again on this new action adventure. We can't wait to see what new ground he will break in introducing Blackhawk to movie audiences worldwide." Of course, this is huge news. Steven Spielberg, one of the greatest, maybe even the greatest blockbuster film director of all time. Great hits. You know him. Everybody knows Jurassic Park, Jaws. Come on. Steven Spielberg is on DC's camp making a DC film. That is tremendous and exciting. Yes, it's probably the least superhero movie he could find, right? It's not like he's making Superman or something. He's making a character in a time where there wasn't too many superheroes. Of course, they find monsters and weird stuff like that, but it's more safe, I think, for him, because it is a world war, and if he wanted to do that in the 90s, you got to think, if he wanted to do that in the 90s, he was around that time where he had like Saving Private Ryan and stuff like that, so he was in that mood, he was in that era where he wanted to do more world war type stuff, and Blackhawk would have been in that era. But since the DC Extended Universe, DC films are on it now, and it seems like the studio's in a direction of leaving the directors to make like these one-shot stories in the same universe, but not really interconnected per se, so that the director has freedom to make whatever film he needs to be within that time universe. And it's perfect for Spielberg because he doesn't have to worry about what's happening in the present time, what's happening with Wonder Woman, what's happening with that. His movie is set in a time period by itself and possibly on its own island, as in the Hawk Island, and so he's able to brew his own thing without having to worry about it. And then maybe the other movies will have to somehow use that as a template to connect their films to that, something like that, for one thing or the other. And so that gets me into my next film. The next film is, of course, Birds of Prey. This is also coming from Deadline. Deadline's dropping some major stuff today, but Warner Brothers and DC Entertainment have chosen Cathy Yan to be the director of an untitled girl gang movie, likely the next superhero film to be graced by Suicide Squad scene stealer Harley Quinn in the form of Margot Robbie. The deal has to be completed, but it is expected that Yan will become the second female filmmaker to join the DC club after Wonder Woman's Patty Jenkins, and the first female Asian director ever tapped to direct a superhero film. This is a bold bet for Warner Brothers' Jeff Johns and Walter Hamada, who oversee DC under Toby Emmerich. Yan got the job over numerous well-established male directors, and because she is taking this giant leap with just one small-budget indie movie under her belt, that would be Dead Pigs, a film that won the World Cinema Dramatic Award for Ensemble Acting at Sundance last January. Despite being a new talent, Yan's presentation for Birds of Prey was exceptional, and Robbie held firm to her desire for this film to be directed by a woman. Robbie's Lucky Chap is producing with Sue Crow and her Crow and Company Entertainment and Brian Unkeles of Clubhouse Pictures. Robbie and Unkeles produce I, Tonya. The project is based on Birds of Prey, which in the DC Universe teams Quinn with several other crime fighters, namely Black Canary, Barbara Gordon, parentheses Batgirl, and Huntress. It is not confirmed if all of them will be characters in the film. What is clear is that both the main characters and most of the creative brain trust are female, remarkable for a studio-sized superhero film. The script was written by Christina Hodson, who wrote the Transformers spin-off Bumblebee and just got hired to write the Batgirl movie. So you can go ahead and read on this a little bit more. Of course, I have not seen Dead Pigs. I don't know any of this person's work. I have not heard of Christina Yan, but it seems like her presentation was really good, and they really liked what she did with the Birds of Prey presentation. Margot Robbie is in the production, producing the film. Her Lucky Chaps is going to do it. So you got an incredible thing here for people who are eager for that feminist and diversity. We got an Asian female director, we got a female producer, we've got a female writer, and we got an all-female cast, main cast in any words. But that is exceptional. That is quite amazing. And It is going to be Birds of Prey, it seems. Although over here it's still Untitled Girl Gang movie. We also remember there was Gotham City Sirens that was supposed to come out. There was going to be Suicide Squad 2. Margot Robbie was also interested in like a Harley versus Joker movie. So what does that all mean? I think that they're actually combining that Gotham City Sirens and Birds of Prey, or evolving into Birds of Prey, and having Harley Quinn be in part of the Birds of Prey is rather interesting. Or is it Birds of Prey versus the Gotham City Sirens? I don't know. That would be kind of interesting in itself. So the thing about this is really cool is that it's Birds of Prey, right? So who's in Birds of Prey? Well, we'll be introduced to Batgirl for the DC Extended Universe. We'll be introduced to Black Canary. We'll be introduced to Huntress. And if it's going against Gotham City Sirens, we'll be introduced to Catwoman, Poison Ivy. And depending on which version of Birds of Prey is this, right? If this is the same version as the original before the New 52, you have Oracle. You have Oracle after Batgirl, right? And so maybe Batgirl that Christina Hodson is writing is a prequel to this, in which Oracle she gets shot in the back by the Joker, becomes Oracle for the Birds of Prey movie. Or is this in a way they're combining New 52 and the comics from before, where Batgirl is involved, not Oracle, and then they can use it as a spin-off for Batgirl. Okay, so there's different ways they could approach this. But one of the interesting things that they could really approach this is that the fact that in both the New 52 and the one before, there is one other member that comes up, and that is Lady Blackhawk. That's right, Lady Blackhawk. Okay, and that is Zinda. She was actually from the Blackhawk era. She got into the situation with a time warp, time jump, and so she's now in modern times. And so she is known as Lady Blackhawk, and she fights with the Birds of Prey. That, I believe, would be one way to connect it to the Blackhawk film. Now, because Steven Spielberg has 2 movies he's planning to do. I forgot the other one, but he's doing the other new Indiana Jones, and he had something else. I totally forgot what it was. But we won't see Black Hawk until like 2021, 22 or something. Something farther away. And if Justin Kroll, who's on, I think he was Variety, had wrote that this actually kind of pushes Suicide Squad 2 off, they're going to actually probably make Birds of Prey and use Birds of Prey as a kicking off point for Batgirl. This is kind of like a BVS situation, right? Birds of Prey is Batman v Superman introducing Wonder Woman, but in this case introducing Batgirl. So you introduce Batgirl in Birds of Prey so that we know who Batgirl is, and we will have her the Batgirl spinoff. Then we got another one. We got Lady Blackhawk. We get introduced to Lady Blackhawk and Blackhawk, the story of Blackhawk, so that we see then in the modern times Lady Blackhawk in Birds of Prey, and then that gives us a way to spin off to Steven Spielberg's Blackhawk movie. That's your Wonder Woman movie, right? So there's a twofold situation here that could happen with the Birds of Prey, and possibly why they're pushing up Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey has an opportunity to tie in what we know already. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn ties that up. Introducing Batgirl for her Batgirl spinoff, introducing Lady Blackhawk for the Blackhawk spinoff. This is a monumental, probably a pivotal point in this new DC Extended Universe. And that is quite something, right? They're quite something. It's even cooler to the fact that we're trying to say that Walter Hamada is doing all this, and could be very much so. I think in this type of situation, I'm thinking, well, because Black Hawk was in there, probably in the back of the minds of Warner Brothers, because Steven Spielberg really wanted to do it. When they made Wonder Woman, Saeed, he actually posted this on Twitter a year ago. Was before Walter Hamada even stepped in. So it was already in the works. It was already on the board. This giant board there is pulled up that says this is the movies we want to do in the DC Extended Universe. Who's going to do that? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do this? These are the properties of the DC Comics that we want to make into movies. And Blackhawk was one of them. And so that makes a lot of sense now that maybe even Saeed will show up. I don't know. But this is so cool. This is such a pivotal point, I think, in the DC Extended Universe. It's going to create some spin-offs out of Birds of Prey, including an incredible... I still can't believe I'm saying this. Steven Spielberg is going to make a DC film. Like, that just still doesn't roll off my tongue very easily. This movie is going to soar high. I think this new DC Extended Universe that's happening, I think there is a plan in place. I feel very hopeful. These aren't just things pulling out from the darkness, you know. I think these were plans in work, but they just had to find a way to introduce certain movies using other movies, like how Batman v Superman is introduced, the Wonder Woman movie. And I think this is the same situation here. So I'm really confident in DC Extended Universe. I can't wait to see this slate. I can't wait to see this slate at San Diego Comic-Con. I can't wait to see what's going to happen at San Diego Comic-Con. It's going to go nuts. It's going to go crazy. And I can't be more happy today. I think today was a huge win for DC Extended Universe, having an Asian female director, Cathy Yan, and a huge director, Steven flippin' Spielberg, is making a DC films. Wow. Alright guys, what did you guys think about these two major bird-type movies? I hope you guys are as excited and actually very optimistic as I am. And let me know down below, what did you guys think about these huge bombs, huge dive bombs? Alright guys, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.